Hello everyone! So we only have a couple more herbs to do for our Nourishing Herbal Infusion video series. And tonight I am making Linden Blossom. So my Linden Blossom is whole, it's not chopped up finely, but you might order from somewhere where they chop it up and that's totally fine too. So linden is actually the only herb of the 5 nourishing infusions that Susan Weed says you can use half the amount. So instead of 30 grams weighed out for your 1 liter canning jar of infusion, you can use only 15 grams. And one of the reasons for that being, I'm going to start weighing mine out here, is, well, if you get the whole stuff that's not chopped up, it's hard to fit 30 grams in your jar. And linden does tend to be one of the more expensive herbs as well. So those are 2 of the reasons that Susan recommends just using half the amount. So I'm making, as usual, enough for 2 people. So I've got my 2-quart canning jar and I just weighed out 30 grams into it. So you can imagine if I had done the usual amount, it would have almost filled the jar full. So if you want to, if you like it with the usual 30 grams, you can totally go ahead and do that. It just depends on your taste and if you want to make the herb go a little farther by using half the amount, that's totally fine. So linden tilia species, beautiful tree. Actually, there's a lot of linden trees that are often planted in cities and on boulevards. I know for a fact there's some in New Westminster where I grew up, just around the corner from my childhood home, and I know there's some in Nelson. There's some downtown Vancouver. In the spring when they're in bloom, they're like this, it's almost like a sickly sweet smell. Very, very sweet. And linden is a very, very powerful anti-inflammatory herb, even more so than turmeric. And why is that? Well, for one, turmeric is an exotic herb to us living in North America. And also, turmeric is a little difficult to absorb in the body. You'll see in traditional Indian recipes and Ayurvedic recipes, they actually combine the turmeric with black pepper and fat like milk or coconut oil and heat it up, and which is delicious and great. But it's a little bit complicated to prepare as a effective anti-inflammatory. So linden, it's available probably near you. It can be grown all across our latitude, like a lot of it's in Europe, right? At the same latitude that we are here in Canada. And it is also, I just found out, an amazing antiviral, and it's used in many different cultures and countries around the world to prevent colds and flus. Flus being the viruses. And yeah, it's a really, really common tea in different European countries to protect against the flu. So how wonderful. I'm just waiting for my water to boil here, so I will be right back. And one other thing I wanted to mention, if you do have the whole linden, you'll look and you'll say, what? I don't just have linden blossom, I have linden leaves. And let's see if I can find a blossom. Yeah, there's the blossom. But they're not actually the leaves. So on the tree, the cluster of flowers kind of like hangs with this leaf-like piece. I believe it's called a sepal. It's actually part of the flower. So just in case you might be confused about that. And we're going to fill up our jar with boiling water all the way to the top. Linden smells absolutely delicious. tastes delicious too. And remember to give it a stir, because often you'll be able to fit a little bit more water right to the top. And screw on your lid. I left mine over here. And let it steep for 4 hours or overnight. And I'm going to do another video, part 2 for Linden, to show you how to rebrew the Linden. So just like comfrey leaf, Linden can be rebrewed a second time to extract all that juicy mucilage. So I'll do another video tomorrow morning to show you how to do that. Green blessings.